Hey everyone, how's it going? So, we've had a quick overview of the basics, and what we're going to do now is kind of extend on this to introduce some new features and allow us to use a range of third-party tools. And we're going to do that with something that you already have installed, so you don't need to install anything at all. And it's called NPM. Now, NPM stands for Node Package Manager. And like the name suggests, it allows you to incorporate a whole range of packages into your project. And you can usually do this very easily by just running one command. But there are a bunch of nice features that come with using NPM anyway, so even if you weren't going to use packages, you still might want to use NPM in your project. So what is it? Well, it's probably easier if I show you rather than tell you. So what we're going to do is keep working with this same project we used in the last videos. So if you don't have this for some reason, remember you can download this from the zip file attached to this lecture. But we're going to continue with this test project, so if you're watching this as part of a Udemy course, just know that when we actually start our course project, we'll be starting with a fresh project. So we will not be using this project when we start the real code, okay? So it doesn't matter what you name this or anything like that. You can have fun with this. It's really okay. So anyway, all we're going to do is go down to the terminal. So I'm going to press Control-C because mine's still running. I'll also bring this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is clear this first. So if I type in clear, it will clear my terminal. But if you're on a Windows machine, I think it's CLS for you. That should be the clear command. But if you're on a Mac or Linux, it's clear like that, and it'll just clear the terminal. If I scroll up, I can still see my previous history, but clear just kind of puts it out of my view, okay? Because sometimes it gets a bit crowded in this. But anyway, so to use NPM, what we're going to do is initialize this project folder as an NPM repository. So we can just say npm init like that and press enter. Okay, and we've got this little message here. So it says it's going to walk us through creating a package.json file. So you'll see what a package.json file is in just a second, but let's just move through each of these commands. So it's asking us for a package name. So you can specify a name here, whatever name you want, but you'll see this part here in parentheses. If you just press enter, this is the value it will use. So it's basically saying specify a value now, or if you don't, we'll just use this one here. So I'm going to keep this one right here, and I'm just going to press enter. So version, okay, again, in parentheses, 1.0, that's fine by me, so I press enter. Again, you could specify your own description. This helps people find your package on the NPM website, because on the NPM website you can search for a whole range of packages that you can use. But we're not bothered about this, so I'll just press enter and leave no description. Entry point, we can just keep this as myapp.js. So again, I'll press enter and it'll use that. If you had some other file, maybe you'd write that here. Test command, this is the command that we're using to run tests. Doesn't matter for us, so I'm pressing enter again. Git repository, you can include a link to your Git repository if you have one, so the Git repository for this package, but we don't, so I'm just press enter. Keywords, so again, keywords are related to this package. It just helps people find this package if they're searching, so we don't need that, so press enter. Author, you can put your name in here if you want that. License, this just tells people who are using your package how they're allowed to use it. So if you have a specific license in mind, you can use that. If you Google NPM licenses, you'll find all the range of licenses that you can use. Yeah, if you want to. But if you press enter, it'll just take this one by default. It doesn't matter about that for us. But so I pressed enter again, and we're seeing a summary of all the things it's about to do. So about to write this to a package JSON file that's created, and you'll see all the values is taken here. So I'm going to press enter, and it's done it. And you'll see up here it's created a package.json file. If I click on that, you'll see here's the file. So this is the summary of our whole package. So you can see these are the values that we went through one by one, and you can change these from here anytime you want. So if let's say you named it wrong, you can just come to here and update the name to whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So again, if you had a different entry point to your app, you could update that here, some file.js or whatever. But it's okay for us. And that's it. So we've set this project up to use NPM. So let me just draw your attention to this scripts part right here. Now, scripts contains some commands you can run which will perform some specified action. So for example, it comes with one command here to run some tests. Of course, we don't have any tests yet, so it's just put this in here which will just echo an error for us. And you can run that in the terminal by saying npm and then whatever the command name is. So this is test. So we can say test like this. And you can just see an error, which is exactly what it said it would do here. You can see no test specified, which, yeah, right there is what it said it would do. So this is exactly as we would expect to see, given that this is what it said it will execute. So because we don't have any tests, it's just put that in there. Now, we can add something as well to this. We can just say start. And all we're going to do is put node and then my app.js like this. Because if you look at our previous commands we run, to run this application before, we were running node myapp.js. So what we're doing is saying when you run the command start, actually run this. Now, this might be a little bit easier, arguably, than running node myapp.js every time. You can just say npm start like this, and it's running the app as normal. So if I go to here and refresh the page, you see all the same stuff we saw before. It's all working exactly the same. So it's just a shortcut for this. Now, why would you do this? Now, of course, it's a little bit shorter, but I guess that's not really the main reason of doing it. npm start is just a way that people have come to expect you to be able to run your project. So if you use a package from someone else or you download some Node project, people just assume that they can run npm start to run it. It's just kind of the thing you do. So it's a good habit to get into just because people expect that this is how they would start your project. The alternative is they would have to go through, look at all your files and find out which one they should be running. So this is a better way. Now you can have custom commands in here, although these ones are not custom. These are ones that come with Node. But if you want to add your own, you could have something underneath there like do something, okay, and then you'd need to specify something that it's going to do. And you'd run that slightly differently. You would say npm run do something like that. So you wouldn't run it the same way before where you said npm start, for example. You'd say npm run and then your custom command. So if I copy this into there, it should be the exact same thing. So when I run this, it should just start the server. And you can see it does, so you can see it started it. So if you had a custom command, you need to say npm run and do something. But if you use npm start, it's one of the default ones that come out in the box with npm, so you don't need to. You can just say npm start. So this is how we're going to be running our projects from now on, just using npm start. So there you go, a real quick overview of how to initialize an npm repository and kind of what package.json is.